Amina, they hissed, her name a venomous dart thrown in the marketplace. Amina, barely a woman, stood amidst the vibrant chaos of the village, the weight of their words crushing her like the midday sun. Just yesterday she was a girl, laughing with her friends by the baobab tree, her future as bright as the woven Kent cloth she helped her mother make. Her future as bright as the woven Kent cloth she helped her mother make. Today she was an outcast, her name synonymous with shame. It began subtly. A missing wrapper, a misplaced loincloth. Old man Jabari, his voice thick with suspicion, claimed his prized ceremonial underwear had vanished. Then Mama F, her eyes narrowed with malice, declared her best cloth gone. The whispers grew, fueled by fear and superstition. The village elders, their faces etched with disapproval, demanded answers. Amina, her heart pounding like a drum, denied everything. But her words were swallowed by the rising tide of suspicion. The village, once her sanctuary, now felt like a cage. Every glance was an accusation. Every smile a sneer. Even her own mother, her eyes filled with a mixture of pity and doubt, kept a wary distance. The humiliation was a constant burn. Children pointed and giggled, their innocent cruelty a fresh wound each time. The young men who once sought her shy smile, now turned away, their faces masks of disgust. The women, their eyes filled with a mixture of pity and fear, whispered behind their hands. The traditions of the village, once a source of comfort, now became instruments of torture. The elders, invoking the ancient spirits, demanded a trial. Amina, her hands trembling, was forced to walk barefoot across a bed of burning coals. The pain was unbearable, but the emotional agony was far worse. The eyes of the village, filled with judgment, pierced her soul. She cried out, not from the physical pain, but from the deep, gaping wound of their betrayal. She survived, her feet scarred, but her spirit broken. The elders, their faces grim, declared her innocent, but the damage was done. The whispers continued, though now laced with a hint of uncertainty. Some felt a flicker of guilt, a prick of conscience. But the majority remained unconvinced, their minds poisoned by the seed of doubt. Amina retreated into herself, a ghost in her own village. She stopped going to the market, stopped helping her mother with the weaving. She spent her days by the river, the only place where the whispers couldn't reach her. The river, with its constant flow, seemed to understand her pain, to carry her tears away. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The village, once her world, now felt like a distant memory. The laughter of children, the gossip of women, the rhythmic beat of the drums, all sounded like echoes from a forgotten dream. Then came the abandonment. Her mother, unable to bear the shame, left the village. She didn't say goodbye, didn't leave a note. Just vanished, leaving Amina utterly alone. The rejection was complete. The village had judged her, her mother had deserted her, and her own heart was a wasteland of despair. One day, while wandering near the sacred grove, Amina stumbled upon a hidden cave. Inside she found a collection of old, dusty boxes. Curiosity, a flicker of life in her desolate soul, led her to open them. Inside she found the missing underwear. Not just Jabari's and Mama F's, but dozens of others. And with them, a series of intricately carved wooden figures, each one representing a villager. Amina's mind raced. She remembered the village shaman, old and powerful, his eyes always filled with a strange light. She remembered his whispered warnings about the power of objects, about the dangers of envy and resentment. The truth dawned on her with the force of a lightning strike. The shaman, consumed by jealousy of her youth and beauty, had orchestrated everything. He had used his knowledge of the old ways to manipulate the village, to turn them against her. The missing underwear wasn't a mystery, it was a weapon. The wooden figures weren't art, they were tools of control. This was the shocking plot twist. The respected shaman, the spiritual guide of the village, was the architect of Amina's suffering. Amina, her heart filled with a mixture of rage and resolve, knew what she had to do. She couldn't expose the shaman directly, the village wouldn't believe her. They were too deeply entrenched in their fear and superstition. Instead, she decided to use the shaman's own methods against him. She learned the ancient chants, studied the power of the wooden figures. She became a master of the very magic that had been used to destroy her. She started subtly, like the whispers that had destroyed her life. A misplaced tool, a sour pot of palm wine. Then the accusations mirroring those she had endured. The shaman, his face etched with confusion, denied everything. But the seed of doubt had been planted. The village, remembering the accusations against Amina, started to question the shaman. The elders, their faces grim, demanded answers. Amina, her eyes filled with a quiet strength, revealed the cave, the underwear, the wooden figures. The village, stunned into silence, saw the truth. The shaman, his power exposed, was banished. Amina, once an outcast, became a symbol of resilience. She taught the village a valuable lesson, that appearances can be deceiving, that even the most respected figures can harbor dark secrets, and that the truth, however painful, will always prevail. She showed them that betrayal, rejection, abandonment, and humiliation, while devastating, can be overcome. They can be stepping stones to strength, wisdom, and ultimately justice. She taught them that even when nobody knows what you do in secret, your actions will eventually come to light. The village, humbled and ashamed, rebuilt itself. They learned to question, to think for themselves, to trust their own judgment. And Amina, the girl who had been broken and abandoned, became a woman of power and wisdom, her name no longer a whisper of shame, but a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit. The dust settled in the village, both literally and figuratively. The banishment of the shaman left a void, not just in the spiritual leadership, but in the very fabric of their communal life. Fear, once directed at Amina, now lingered as a residue of the shaman's deceit. Trust, once a given, became a fragile commodity, carefully guarded and slowly rebuilt. Amina, though vindicated, carried the scars of her ordeal. They were etched not just on her feet, but deep within her soul. The laughter did not return easily, the carefree spirit tempered by the harsh reality she had faced. Yet, within this quiet strength, a new purpose began to bloom. She started by tending to the very individuals who had ostracized her. Old man Jabari, his eyes now clouded with remorse, found Amina helping him mend his fishing nets. Mama F, her face etched with regret, accepted Amina's assistance in harvesting the yams. Amina's actions were not born of a desire for revenge, but from a profound understanding of their shared humanity, their shared vulnerability to manipulation and fear. Slowly, painstakingly, the healing began. The children, their innocent cruelty replaced by a budding empathy, would bring her small gifts of fruit and flowers. The young men, their averted gazes now direct and respectful, sought her counsel. The women, their whispers now filled with admiration, asked her to share her stories. Amina, in turn, shared not the bitterness of her past, but the lessons she had learned. She spoke of the dangers of blind faith, the importance of critical thought, and the resilience of the human heart. She taught them that truth, though often obscured, has a way of revealing itself, and that forgiveness, though difficult, is essential for true healing. The village, under Amina's quiet guidance, began to evolve. They established a council where decisions were debated openly, where skepticism was encouraged, and where the wisdom of the elders was balanced with the fresh perspectives of the younger generation. The traditions remained, the rich tapestry of their culture preserved, but a new thread of discernment was woven into its fabric. Years passed. The scars on Amina's feet faded, but the wisdom in her eyes deepened. She never sought to replace the banished shaman, understanding that true leadership comes not from a position of power, but from a place of integrity and empathy. Instead, she became a guiding presence, a living testament to the power of perseverance and the triumph of truth. One day, a traveler arrived in the village. He was a scholar, seeking to understand the ancient customs and beliefs of the region. He had heard whispers of a village that had faced a great tribulation and emerged stronger. He sought out Amina, drawn by the quiet authority that radiated from her. Amina shared her story, not with bitterness or self-pity, but with a calm and measured voice. She spoke of the betrayal, the rejection, the abandonment, and the humiliation. She also spoke of the unexpected discovery in the cave, the shocking truth about the shaman, and the long and arduous journey towards healing and reconciliation. The scholar listened intently, his eyes wide with understanding and respect. He recognized in Amina a rare strength, a profound wisdom born from suffering. He documented her story, ensuring that it would not be forgotten, a testament to the human capacity for both great cruelty and extraordinary resilience. As the scholar prepared to leave, he asked Amina a final question. "Amina," he said, his voice filled with genuine curiosity, "after all you have been through, after the depths of despair and the triumph of truth, what is the most important lesson you have learned?" Amina looked out at the village, now vibrant with life and laughter, a community rebuilt on the foundations of honesty and trust. A small smile touched her lips. "I have learned," she said, her voice clear and strong, "that what people believe they know in secret often reveals more about themselves than about the person they judge. And that true strength lies not in hiding our vulnerabilities, but in facing them, in learning from them, and in sharing our truth, no matter how painful." And so, Amina's story became a legend, whispered not with shame but with awe and respect. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can endure, truth can prevail, and the human spirit, though tested, can emerge stronger and wiser. It was a testament to the fact that even when nobody knows the secrets we are forced to carry, our journey towards overcoming them can illuminate the path for others. The scholar's departure marked not an end, but a new chapter in the village's story and in Amina's life. His writings, shared across distant lands, carried the tale of their tribulation and their eventual healing. Other travelers, drawn by the scholar's accounts, began to arrive, seeking wisdom from the woman who had risen from the ashes of public scorn. Amina, though initially hesitant, embraced her role as a storyteller and a guide. She welcomed these visitors, sharing her experiences with an open heart, always emphasizing the importance of empathy, critical thinking, and the courage to question prevailing narratives. She never presented herself as a saint or a flawless leader, but as a fellow human being who had endured immense suffering and found strength in vulnerability. The village flourished under this new era of openness and introspection. They established a small library, housing the scholar's writings and other texts brought by the travelers. Literacy, once a privilege of the few, became a valued skill, empowering individuals to seek knowledge and form their own opinions. The traditions of the village evolved further, incorporating elements of other cultures encountered through the visitors. New forms of art, music, and storytelling emerged, enriching their cultural landscape. The fear of the unknown diminished, replaced by a curiosity about the wider world and a willingness to learn from others. Amina, though she never left her village, became a figure of quiet influence beyond its borders. Leaders from neighboring communities sought her counsel on matters of justice, reconciliation, and community building. Her wisdom, born from personal tragedy and profound reflection, proved invaluable in resolving disputes and fostering understanding. Despite her newfound respect and influence, Amina remained grounded in her roots. She continued to work alongside the villagers, tending the fields, weaving intricate patterns, and participating in the daily rhythms of their lives. She never forgot the sting of betrayal, the weight of abandonment, or the burn of humiliation. These memories served not as sources of bitterness, but as constant reminders of the importance of compassion and the fragility of human trust. As the years turned into decades, Amina grew old, her hair as white as the egret's feathers, her face etched with the lines of time and experience. Yet her eyes retained their clear, insightful gaze, and her spirit remained vibrant. The children who had once taunted her now sat at her feet, listening with rapt attention to her stories. The young men and women sought her blessings before embarking on new journeys. The elders regarded her not just as a survivor, but as a sage, a living embodiment of their village's resilience. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village, Amina gathered the community around the ancient baobab tree, the same tree where she had once laughed as a carefree girl. Her voice, though frail with age, resonated with a lifetime of wisdom. "My people," she began, her gaze sweeping across the faces she had come to cherish, "we have journeyed far together. We have known darkness and light, sorrow and joy. We have learned that truth can be hidden, but it cannot be extinguished. We have discovered that strength is not the absence of vulnerability, but the courage to embrace it." She paused, her eyes twinkling with a gentle warmth. "And we have come to understand that what truly matters is not what others believe they know about us in secret, but the integrity of our own hearts, the compassion we extend to others, and the legacy of understanding and resilience we leave behind." Amina's words hung in the air, a final lesson etched into the collective memory of the village. A few days later, she passed away peacefully, surrounded by her loved ones. Her passing was not a moment of despair, but a quiet acceptance, a gentle return to the earth that had nurtured her. The village mourned her deeply, but their grief was tempered with gratitude for the wisdom and strength she had shared. They honored her not with grand monuments, but by living according to the principles she had taught, with open hearts, critical minds, and an unwavering commitment to truth and compassion. Amina's story continued to be told, passed down through generations, a reminder that even from the deepest wounds, extraordinary strength and profound wisdom can emerge. It served as a beacon of hope for those facing injustice and a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the most devastating betrayals. And so, the legacy of the girl once whispered about in shame lived on, transformed into a story of courage, resilience, and the ultimate triumph of truth over prejudice.